It's a blueprint, a rubric, a guiding light to meet deadlines. It's formulaic to door us these chords, so give us more of the norm. Come along, it's formulaic.
I'm Shelby.
And I'm the people who care.
The people who care, just like your friends in the Babysitters Club.
Oh, yeah. Women's fucking History Month, baby. We got
Is that why-
7. No, it just happened to be this way.
Well, I mean, it was a good thing we planned it out this way and definitely did this on purpose for Women's History Month, James.
Even if we did this in June, we could have said Pride, baby, because the author of the Babysitters Club is a queer individual.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I figured only like one of them was written by the actual author and the rest were like ghost written.
Okay, yes. But out of, I think there's like 200 or some. 60 to 80, she says, definitely she wrote, then the others were written by other people.
Okay, that makes sense. By the way, this is formulaic.
Yeah. You know, you read the damn title.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just popped it on their phone, their like random podcast feed. You know how people do random podcast episodes.
They got that iPod podcast shuffle.
Exactly. In this case, they're listening to Formulaic, a podcast where we take a formulaic television show and then write our own episode of it according to that formula and make our friends do a table read.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have experience babysitting?
I have zero. I mean, you know, I like watched a child maybe. Oh, no. I did watch my niece Regina when she was young, and it was always terrible because no matter what, this is a big reason why I know getting a vasectomy was the correct thing to do. It doesn't matter if she like just bumped her shoulder on something. I'd be like, are you okay? Are you dying? Oh my God, did you hurt yourself? I think she just like face planted in the yard. And I'm like, ah! And then she just like gets up and she's like, I'm okay, Uncle James. And just starts like running around.
Yeah, you were more freaked out about her getting hurt than she was. Yeah, I always thought that I wouldn't be able to have a kid, like, watch them skateboard or something, because it just seems so dangerous. But I don't know, maybe I've grown past that. I've learned better boundaries, and we all live this life and die alone, including children.
Unless you're with the power of Christ, then he's always with you.
That's right. I went to the Santa Monica Pier yesterday with my boyfriend, and there was a Jesus Christian gathering and concert at the pier.
Hell yeah.
And as soon as we walked in, he was like, oh my gosh, yes, this isn't going to get shot up because they're all here.
Oh, okay, hell yeah.
Very happy to be in public and not scared for your life.
Oh, I'm always that. I go to the library, I'm like, this could be the day.
I mean, it's not like there's never been a hostage situation in a library.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're all scared all the time. Anyway, back to what we're actually talking about, which is the fanciful life.
The people who make us not scared. Babysitters.
Right. The babysitters who make us feel safe and loved and cared for and entertained as a babysitter should.
Is that part of their code?
Yeah, they take an oath. Yeah.
Whoa.
I babysat a few times, so I had to take an oath. First of all, I have a younger sibling who's 5 years younger than me, so, you know, I was watching that guy. And then I had, like, a neighbor, I had little cousins, like, I babysat other people's kids. Like, I was babysitting left and right as a younger, like, preteen.
You're a regular Christy. You're a regular Marianne. You're a regular Stacy. You're a regular Marianne. Fuck. I tried.
Mallory?
Yeah, I have
Jessie?
them all, but I wanted
wow.
to do it off the top of my dome.
Maybe try reaching under the bottom of the dome.
Okay.
And lifting it out from under there.
Oh, I got it. Christy, Claudia, Marianne, Stacy, Dawn, Mallory, Jessie.
There you go, James.
Sometimes Abby.
Sometimes Abby. Sometimes Logan.
Yeah, Logan shows up here and there, and ooh, baby, he hunk.
Okay.
I think Marianne has a thing for him.
Oh, Marianne does.
Maybe.
I can't remember. I'm trying to picture the face of Marianne, and I simply cannot do it.
She's kind of the nerd ass, but not the nerd ass with glasses. Her
like the red
stepsister. No, that's Mallory. Marianne is the
Okay.
one who's stepsisters with Dawn, who used to live in NYC. Or is Dawn the one with diabetes?
No, Stacy has diabetes.
Okay, Dawn is the stepsister formerly from NYC who is always living with Marianne because they're stepsisters.
Okay, great. I was thinking about my babysitting experiences, and like one of the experiences that always sticks with me is that I must have been like 13 or something, babysitting the girl next door who was really only a few years younger than me. I think she was 9 or so, but she was adopted from another country, and they think that she was actually born a year or two earlier than they put her birthday.
Okay.
It was like one of those things. So she was like talking to me as her babysitter, and she was telling me that she got her period. And this is like a girl, like very young to get your period. And she didn't know how, she's like, none of the other people in my class have this. It's like the classic thing. Like she didn't know how to talk about it, who to talk to. And I was like 13 and not equipped for this. I was like, oh, you got to talk to your mom.
Oh, no.
Like, you should talk to your mom about this. Like, and I always think about that as like a failure on my part. I mean, I was a kid too.
Yeah.
But now when I am in situations like that where someone's trying to talk to me about something like that, I will always like, if it's something that I can try to deal with, you know, I'm not going to try to just put it on someone else. But like as a babysitter, maybe if I had the Babysitters Club show to show me the way about talking about uncomfortable subjects or something.
Yeah, because that's all this show. Like, there's always an entire episode, but that would be. We'll file that. Like, hey, speak about. I don't know how to talk about periods, even though I got one. Maybe.
Yeah.
Also, the first aid thing, that was one of my ideas. But it's crazy because my mom over-explained like how pregnancy works and like periods and all of that to me when I was a child. So I knew about like the fallopian tubes. I knew the eggs dropped, all of that stuff. So there was someone, I think I was in 3rd grade, a girl got her period. And like, I only knew because I like heard teachers discuss it, but because it was so young, the teachers weren't equipped to talk about that.
Yeah.
So R2, you're also good. You're golden. You are 13. These are ding dang teachers.
I mean, I could talk about it from a scientific perspective, but this was more a discussion of like the emotional aspect of it, how gross it makes you feel. And like, I mean, anyone who's been through a period younger, like there's a lot of the way people talk about it is like you feel disgusting about yourself. And I think that's really what she was trying to talk about. But again, I was a 13-year-old girl still disgusted with myself. Like there was I had nothing to share to like help her.
I think we just do a menstruation episode.
Yeah, I think we're doing it.
Hell yeah, guys.
Let's talk about the formula of the Babysitters Club. You got it down.
Yeah, dude.
You like laid it out. It's an extremely formulaic show in a way that makes it so peaceful to watch.
God, this is such a cozy, just every single episode's cozy. And I should say how I came across the Babysitters Club. Tubi is just a goldmine for television shows that as a child I wish I could have watched, but I never could. And this was one of them. Every single December, I try to find Christmas specials of TV shows to watch. And the Babysitters Club has a Christmas special. So that's my introduction to this show was a girl thinking like, oh, well, I need to partake in social norms, i.e. eating Christmas cookies, even though I'm very diabetic, and then falls into like a near diabetic coma. Like you see her descent, like each scene she is more and more tired because she's just like, I guess I gotta house this cookie real quick. It's wild. And then there's a kid who's at a child's hospital and his parents don't show up for Christmas for him. That's super fucked.
That's so messed up. I wouldn't want to visit my sick kid either. Get better, idiot.
Get out of here or get better.
That's right. Shit or get off the pot, kid.
Fucking die already or get healthy.
That's what I'm saying. So what's this formula? Every episode starts out the same. Now, remember, we're talking about the 90s Babysitters Club, not the newer Netflix one that I started watching by mistake.
I'm so glad I popped in there because I was like, well, I need to take a shower. But then I looked and I was like, oh, they're watching Babysitters Club. I'm going in. And then I go, no, R2, wrong one.
Abort.
And this is all on Tubi, so you can watch it for free. So every episode begins with the theme song over the Babysitters Club, laughing while going somewhere or prepping something. If they are prepping for an event or just like some party, whatever, that is how the episode will end. Like they're talking about the daddy-daughter dance. Ugh, I find that concept so disgusting. But then like my brother and my niece went to one. I was like, well, they don't like, maybe it's just how media portrays a daddy-daughter dance. Like, I think it's Pretty Little Liars. They talk about it. Fucking disgusting. I guess that entire show is disgusting and trash, but
yeah.
Not trash enough for me not to have seen most of the episodes, so
There's definitely is a weird vibe about daddy-daughter dances, but I don't think it has to be that way. I think there are specific dad-daughter relationships that make it weird. But like, I went to a dad-daughter camping weekend for like Girl Scouts or something with my dad, and it rocked.
Oh, hell yeah. Where all the dads just like, yeah, we'll show you how to whittle and make a hobo pie.
My dad literally taught me how to whittle on that trip, and it's like a very fond memory I have.
Hell yeah. Okay. We'll throw that in there.
Okay, great.
Maybe like they're whittling and they're like, like whittling's just kind of the same motions you do. Like it's a tom girl. They're trying to teach like how periods work to her. And she's like, they're whittling and they're like, this is kind of like the same motion you use to like remove a tampon from its wrapper.
No, James.
And like also kind of like to pull out the applicator, but in reverse.
Oh my God. No, I don't think that's what we would teach them. But if it is like a tomboy type girl who's like, maybe she's really upset about getting her period because it's like she doesn't want to be differentiated from her boyfriends.
They talk about it on their podcast, We Love Trash. Betsy Sidaro talks about that they have like entire middle school episodes because they're like, that's trash, not trash we loved though. And Betsy's like, I fucking hated it still to this day. But back then it was, I feel like I'm no longer like one of the guys.
Yeah. And it's not in like because a lot of people feel that way and it's like, oh, they're transgender, like they're exploring their gender. But like, it's in that sense of when you're friends with a bunch of guys, you have not only this different societal place, like, than them where you're just trying to get treated normally. Now you're also getting this like period thing that comes along with all of these body changes that now make you like a hot girl instead of just one of the guys. And then people change the way they look at you and it never goes away.
There's a fantastic step-by-step episode where Al is trying to like get attention from boys and she's like, yeah, we're on the hockey team together, but like no matter what I do, like he wants to like date this girl down the street and they're like, well, that's because she's got Hooters. And then then Al goes, I have Hooters, and they're like, no, you have Hooters, she has Hooters. And man, that show rips too. So they prep over the theme song. Then they're discussing something, usually with a child they're sitting for, and that will present the lesson or moral being taught in that episode. So if it is about the cookies and diabetes, someone will say like, hey, should you be eating cookies? Like it could affect your diabetes. And she's like, oh, 1 or 2's fine. That's good. So then we know that will be the story this entire time. Then there's one more scene either at the same place or at a second location to further what the plot of the episode is. Then always the next scene is at Christie's for a meeting of the Babysitters Club. Then they watch children while having to deal with a lesson being taught. They end up back at Christie's for another Babysitters Club, figuring out how to deal with the lesson being taught that episode. Then they attend to the issues of the episodes. They learn the lesson. Then we wind up with whatever part party or event that they've been prepping for that was presented at the beginning, all the better after learning the week's lesson.
Amazing. It's so clear. It's so concise.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually dealing with multiple kids, like not just the kid with the main issue, but also the other kids they're watching out for. They're like how they're reacting to the issue as well. So there's plenty of opportunities for the babysitters to discuss various topics and teach the lessons that all babysitters are sworn to teach their wards.
So I read there's some trivia. First, this was filmed in Pelham, New York, which, man, I gotta go there because this place looks cozy. Casting picked from over 500 girls between the ages of 10 and 14. The series was initially filmed early to mid-90s, and it aired on HBO, eventually went over to the Disney Channel in the mid-90s, and that's where I think most people remember watching it. However, there is no Mallory episode in this series, as well as the Netflix series, so we gotta give them an episode. I think Mallory is the one we are going to focus on today.
Okay, so Mallory is getting the episode.
Glasses, red hair.
Right, and she's gonna teach a kid about menstruation.
Yeah.
Great, and I think it'll work because she is like, oh, I can still feel awkward and stuff. I feel like maybe she would ask Christy about it too, because Christy is like the tomboy character. She loves Christy is the most like me if instead of being interested in sports, she were interested in like video games and fantasy novels, you know? Like, but other than that, which one are you the most like?
Kind of none of them. I mean, I have to always get double checked for diabetes because it runs in my family. So I'm a little bit of a Dawn. That's Dawn, right?
Stacy,
oh my God. Yep, that's my only note for her, has diabetes. But I'm also like a Marianne, a nerd ass with a stepsister, you know?
Yeah, but Stacy, I think you're a Stacy because she's like kind and nice and also like really fashionable and pretty. Like she was a model for that one episode.
Yeah, but I'm not. I guess I could also be a Claudia who's like a little bohemian, and I have a nerd ass for a sister. I'm kidding. She's the cool one. I guess I'm more Madeline, I think, is Claudia's sister.
Janine?
Oh, Janine, yeah.
Janine, yeah. She's like very serious and dorky and like, it's sweet though. The first episode is about like sisterly bonds.
Man, that episode rips. That was like when I went back, I said, no, we gotta do this show for Formulaic. And I'm also a little bit of a Dawn, you know, divorced parents from NYC. But man, her face acting is so good. It makes it look like she truly is manic, but in a good way. And that's me.
Yeah, that is you.
Oh, and I'm like Jessie because I make up dances.
There you go. You're all of them. You're every woman. It's all in you.
I'm not Mallory, though. I don't have glasses or red hair.
You're wearing glasses right now.
Oh, no, and I did just dye my hair red. Fuck.
Yeah, I think you curled it, too. Wow.
Damn it. And I have blue eye contacts now and clear braces.
Yeah. James, you look exactly like Mallory.
Damn it.
So we're channeling you. Mallory's gonna get the episode. Do they do a little narration over the top, or is it?
No, it's just them laughing. But if there was narration, you couldn't hear that slapping of a theme song.
Yeah. I'm thinking, so for our thing, they're all laughing and hanging out and getting ready for something. I don't know what they're going to be getting ready for, but I think maybe one of the girls is like, I'm going to go home. I don't feel well. I have really bad cramps, you know? And they're like, oh, okay, have a good day. You know, it's just totally normal. And that'll come back later because that we're talking about periods.
Were there nicknames for a tampon or a pad that you would ask your friends if you did not have one? Like, hey, do you have like a spliff or something? I mean, it's not a spliff. So we could come up with like a nickname as they're like all like, hey, does anyone have a and then they're like, oh yeah, I got you. And then like they kind of like pass that along. And then they say, all right, I actually need to head home. I got to use this. And then And then they're like, okay, see you later. But we got to figure out what's something that can tie in. Maybe, I know this is hack. I was going to say it could be no, this is better. It falls in perfectly place. After Labor Day, you can't wear white, so it's a Labor Day party.
And they're all going to wear white?
No, they're not going to wear white, which is good because they're like, oh, thank God I'm on my period.
Right, okay. And they're getting ready for it, or they're at a party when it opens?
That's the thing. They're going to be getting ready for a Labor Day.
It could also be like a swimming thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't swim with your period unless you use a tampon. And a lot of girls don't like to use tampons, especially younger girls. And when I, like my age, like a lot of girls were like, oh, I've never used a tampon. Like they just don't. Mm-hmm. And you can't swim with a pad in. So, okay, where are we? The technology has come so far. Now all the girls have little diva cups.
These girls in their diva cups.
But no, there wasn't, as far as I can remember, any nicknames for tampons or pads. You would just ask like someone, do you have a tampon? Do you have a pad? Do you have any feminine products? Like people would say stuff like sanitary napkins.
Okay.
And like, just try to make it less like embarrassing for kids to ask each other about. When I don't think it has to be embarrassing, but
it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. Maybe there's a teacher somewhere who can come in and be like, no, this is fine.
I asked because I'm pretty sure the girls in my school did, because they would have to ask in the middle of class around dudes. So they would ask in some different way that all of them kind of like, oh, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. I got you after class.
Interesting. I didn't have that, but I grew up with brothers. So I don't know. I feel like around guys, I will talk even more graphically about my period because I'm like, you don't know this already.
Yeah.
And you should.
There was once where I was this might have been on a podcast. Like, I think Nicole said, I got to put a tampon in. And I go, oh, yeah, me too. Then take it out and put it in over and over again. And she's like, Jesus Christ. Got a big laugh. And I think that's how we ended an episode of whatever podcast.
That's funny.
So one of them should say this joke. I'm kidding. Don't.
Also, something they could be getting ready for is like a baby shower or something. I'm just thinking like if they're talking about menstruation, like it has to do with like bodies and what else do bodies do, and it's related to having babies. Like if you want to have babies later, you have to have a period. Okay, yeah, that's probably better than my crass we won't be wearing white joke. Right. Or like, yeah, so some kids could be like, well, what if I don't want to have a baby? But it's like, that's fine too, but you have the option because of your period. Can I just squeeze it out in one day? Sometimes your body does that. Like, there's a general amount of time it takes for all of the blood and tissue to leave, but sometimes your body's like, I'm gonna shoot this out in 2 days, motherfucker. Someone needs to make, when you get a toothpaste and it has that like ring that you can like scoop it around. Squeeze it out. Yeah. Make that for like the uterine lining. Yeah. Yeah. I do have friends, we would sit there and like press our abdomens trying to get it to come out quicker because I'm like, I need this to be over. Get it out of me. Get it out of me. Wow, lots of great period talk today. I hope everyone's enjoying this. Yeah, guys, I'm an ally. And that's what we're doing. And it really is a Women's History Month. I don't know. I think of you as more than an ally, James. Oh, no, I'm an ally through and through, and that's all I identify as. And that's how you know I'm not an ally. I'm performative. Well, that's your whole personality. Oh, yeah. I guess so. I tread the boards digitally. Exactly. You tread the airwaves. Ones and zeros. Yeah, you're treading them. So they're getting ready maybe for a baby shower or a Labor Day party. Maybe like someone's quinceañera or bat mitzvah. Sure, bring some culture. Do you know anything about quinceañeras or bat mitzvahs? No. Yeah, so maybe, shit. They say to write what you know, but they don't say don't write what you don't know. Okay,
for waspy ass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
The coming of womanhood is usually like Sweet 16. So maybe, what was her name? Madeline?
Mallory?
No, the sister, the nerd ass sister.
Janine.
Yes, Janine. Maybe Janine is having her Sweet 16, and they're like, well, we need to plan this because whatever Janine is going to plan is going to be boring. So
That's
let's take it
fantastic.
on, and it's her Sweet 16, she's becoming a woman. But then all the others are saying, well, technically, most of us are already women too. Because
And they're talking about their periods?
Yeah.
I see. And so one of the little kids is like, what does that mean?
oh, hell yeah. We'll tell you. Oh, it's Danny Tamborelli. And he's like, what's that mean, guys? Punctuation? I learned about that in school yesterday. I'm in kindergarten.
Period? Like the way you end a sentence?
Yeah, dude. No, Danny.
No, Danny.
Figure it
Haven't
out
you-
already.
Haven't you learned anything in school about anatomy?
Anatomy? Like the smart private schools? Anatomy? That's academy.
That's an academy. So maybe Logan could be there and be like, I didn't learn anything in school until they had us do that little class in 7th grade where they made the boys and girls watch each other's health lessons. Did you do this?
Yes, in 7th grade, but
Yeah, so like before that, yeah.
in 5th and 6th, it was you were segmented and saw.
Yes.
I think we talked about this before, and I got in school suspension that day, so I just did not get that part. But luckily, my mom told me more than I would ever know in that class.
Yeah. My parents also taught me, they were always very open. We've talked about this before. My favorite movie as a child was The Miracle of Life, so I knew all about it.
Wild.
Very wild. Okay, so they're getting ready, and maybe Logan's talking about that, and the girls are saying, oh yeah, we took our health class in like 5th grade or whatever. And Danny's like, that's still however many years away. And then maybe one of the other girls is looking sad, or one of the other little kids, because one of the little kids has to get their period, or at least has to talk about it. So what kid talks to Mallory a bunch? The one who rhymes all the time? Are they sisters?
I think they are.
So maybe the rhyming girl is like, I don't want a period. And then we'll have to do rhymes.
Oh, I can do that, absolutely.
Hell yeah. And Mallory has to talk to her about it. And she's like, maybe that's like what it is like Mallory needs to talk to her about it, but she tries to talk to, and it becomes like a kind of sister bonding moment.
Oh, yeah.
But Mallory is like, I'm uncomfortable talking about this. Maybe someone more like my sister could talk about, or maybe someone else has better ideas about this and could talk to my sister about it. Because like her sister's doesn't have her period yet, but she's still like upset thinking about it, right?
Yes.
Because none of these little kids would have periods yet. And it would be probably a lot. I think it's more, I like the idea of having this kid just worrying about the day she gets her period and what that's gonna
yes.
be like. Whereas instead of like already getting it and having to talk about it.
I was trying to find like her saying at the end, she says, so womanhood is sort of good? Like I was trying to like find a good rhyme for that.
Yeah. Despite the pains of womanhood, the result is kind of good.
There we go. I can make life, but period makes strife.
Though I am in pain, a new life I may gain.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Making babies, it's pretty crazy.
I love it. We could do this for the rest of the episode.
Fuck. Why can't we?
We go to write the script and we're like, fuck, we didn't come up with anything. It's just all rhymes.
We wrote a children's book about womanhood.
Okay, so they're at what did we say that they were getting ready for?
For Janine's party,
Janine's
Sweet 16.
party. So they're at Claudia's place, maybe. And Janine is kind of like, oh, there's so many people here, so many kids here. Or they're outside of the park because there's so many people.
No, party's at the end.
Right, but they have to get ready for they're planning it, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you meant like when you were saying like they're outside of the party. I was like,
yeah.
No, there's no party yet.
Yeah, sorry. They're planning the party. So we've got that scene. They're planning the party. While they're planning the party, they talk about periods, womanhood, transition to Danny. We're going back and forth with him. Then they're talking about that. We see the little rhyming kid looks sad. And
I think just like everyone's saying, all right, I need to go. And then Mallory says to Rhyming Kid, her sister, hey, let's get going. And on the walk there, all of a sudden, she's asking these questions. And I think the moral of the story isn't about, we're telling you about your period. It is leaning on other women.
Yeah.
So as it goes on, like Mallory doesn't have all the answers. And she's like, well, I can't ask anyone. This is my sister. I need to like be researching this myself. She goes to the library and she's not learning things from the book. She's learning from the librarian. The librarian teaches her something. Then like she at the like second babysitters club, or maybe at the second babysitters club, she finally says like, hey, here's actually what's been going on. And then all of them tell stories and she relays that to the little sister at the party. And she's like, but I still don't understand like this stuff. Then Janine walks past, who's very smart, and is like, like spews off scientific knowledge.
The
and
facts.
then, and you see like, huh? The sister's like, huh? And then Mallory says like, could you translate that for an artist? And then Janine's like, huh? And then Claudia like walks past and like gives the like same information just like for like a child. And then the kid's like, oh yeah, there guys, we wrote the episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, we did it. It's done.
Okay, so now they're walking. What could she be asking?
So I think she'll be like, what age do people get a period? When am I going to get my period? And Mallory's like, I don't know. No one knows.
In the like Babysitters Club fandom, they like gave the ages, but I was like, I don't need to know the fucking ages, so I deleted that from my notes. But now I need to know their ages.
Well, I think that if Mallory talking to the little kid, at least we know that she's like an early teen, the other kid's a little kid. They're in middle school, right? So they're like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And I got my period like right before I turned 13. So it tracks that many of the girls would have them. Like that's like a normal age to get it. There's a huge range of ages where it's completely normal to get your period. So that's the thing is like everyone gets it at a different time. So Mallory would have to be like, well, I got mine last year or something or 2 years ago, but it might not be the same for you. And Mallory clearly gets really uncomfortable talking about it. So she's like, I mean, maybe we could talk to mom about this or something. And the kid's like, I don't want to talk to mom. That's embarrassing. Or dad or whatever parent they have. I don't know. We can talk to parent about this. No, Mallory, I don't want to talk to parent. James is still looking for the ages of the Babysitters Club.
No, right now I'm trying to find the like sister's name, and there is so much information on these kids. It must be Vanessa because in the book they have triplets of brothers. This is a huge family. Oh my goodness. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids in the Pike family?
Yeah, because she does talk about having to babysit her own family a lot.
Okay, so yes, I'm guessing it's Vanessa that is who is 2 years younger than Mallory.
She seemed more than 2 years younger in the show.
Then it's either Margot or Claire?
Interesting. Hold on, why don't we just look up Rhyming Girl in Babysitters Club?
Vanessa.
It's Vanessa?
All right, so Vanessa is traveling down the road back to home with Mallory.
Right. And saying she's questioning when she's going to get her period. And she's doing it in rhyme. And so Mallory has to decipher this. Right. And gets uncomfortable. So then after, what's the next scene we do?
This would be, she goes to babysit, like after, hey, we're home, I have to go over to the Babysitters Club or Christie's for a meeting of the Babysitters Club. So they go and she's like conflicted, but it's one of those scenes where it happens a lot in this show. One of them's having an issue, but doesn't want to talk about it in this first iteration. So she's not going to talk about it. She's just distant, not really communicating because she's like, I got to do this on my own.
They get a call from the Johansons asking for a sitter.
Dr. Johansson's always needing a goddamn sitter.
That's right. So what could be going on that in this Babysitters Club? Because clearly they'll be talking about something else. Like the girls will come in, like Christy will answer the phone and be like, the Johansons need a babysitter for Friday night. Marianne, it looks like you're free. And Marianne's like, great, I'm so excited to talk to the Johansson's kid.
And then Dawn says, oh, Mallory, it looks like I'm babysitting Vanessa tomorrow. And then Mallory says, actually, can I take that? And they're like, you want to babysit your own sister? That's weird. And she's like, oh, no, it's just like, whatever. And they're like, no, what's going on? And she says nothing. And they go, Mallory. There's a lot of that in here.
I just want to spend some extra time with my sister.
Is that too bad? Does that make me a monster? And they're like, well, no, usually you are like, it seems
like. Does that
like
make me a fucking monster? And then she starts throwing shit? Yeah.
And she says, chocolate, ack.
What?
Oh, you don't know the Kathy? She says chocolate, ack.
Ack. I know she says ack.
Yeah, she always says chocolate. She loves chocolate.
Kathy loves chocolate.
Oh, she do. Ooh.
So I wonder if the first part of this, right, Mallory's not talking about it. What if she's trying to, like, pawn watching Vanessa? What if she's trying to avoid talking to Vanessa?
Oh, I like that.
So she's like, hey, Christy, can you take my shift for Vanessa whenever? And she, like, doesn't tell her about the period. And she's like, and, you know, she's been kind of interested in her body lately. So, you know, if anything like that comes up, just be ready. And Christy will be like, well, I think that's probably something her family should talk to her about.
Or no, I think it should just be like, she's interested in bodies lately. And they're like, oh, what a poet, you know, thinking it's more romanticized, not so biological. And then maybe we get a montage of every single day, just a quick thing. Kirsty goes, I keep wanting to say Kirsty because it's from fucking Hellraiser. Her name's Kirsty now. She grows up to solve the box and then gets hooks in her. Or avoids getting hooks. And I think it should be every single girl before the week of this party goes and they like have to struggle through answering these questions, but none of them are opening up to the other babysitters club to be like, oh yeah, we can all do this. And then that final, before the party, they all get together.
They talk about it.
Like they all kind of don't want to talk. And then Jesse's like, well, guys, what's going on? Because you want to know what? I'm feeling weird because of something Mallory asked. And they're like, Mallory asked you. She also asked me. And they're like, wait.
Yeah,
did Mallory all ask us about menstruation? And they're like, oh my God.
Or Vanessa. Yeah.
Yeah, Vanessa.
So, okay. Yeah. So perfect. First, Babysitters Club. Johansson's asked for a caller. They're talking about some other stuff that they do in the Babysitters Club, like different plans they have. And then Mallory asks Christy to take her shift watching Vanessa. Mm-hmm. Christy does that. I don't think we see it. I think we come back later and like, you know, everyone will see maybe Mallory asking someone else to like take a shift to deal with Vanessa also.
Well, I think it should be Kirsty asking someone else, and they keep piggybacking and pawning off Vanessa because they're like, I don't want to ask this. Or
they keep asking someone they think is more mature about it.
Actually, I think this is even better. Instead of one of them saying like, what's the deal? Because Janine has shown up before at one of these babysitter clubs. I think Vanessa barges in and she's like, hey, will someone answer you guys keep saying you'll answer something for me, but then you never come back. And they're like, huh? And they're like, wait, is this why you pawned her off on me? But, you know, being sweet about it. And they're like, oh my God. Well, and realizing we've failed Vanessa here. Like, we're not just bad babysitters. We're also bad, like, sisterly figures to this young girl.
Well, I wouldn't even say, yes. That's like what they're thinking. But before that, so I think while Mallory is kind of passing Vanessa off and then Christy passes her off and all that, Mallory, like you said, is going to the library. She's researching. That's where she ends up talking to the librarian. And I think this little scene where Mallory's at the, like, researching menstruation or whatever, maybe she opens up to this librarian because the librarian's like, you know, a nice, sweet, older or like adult woman.
Yeah.
I'm not like older, like my age or something, you know, and is like, oh, did you seize the books that she checked out and is like, did you get your period?
And she's like,
These
no,
things suck.
I've had it, but my sister has. But a woman your age, but with gray hair. That's what they would do for a librarian in this show.
Yeah, she's got gray hair and glasses. It's just me with gray hair and glasses.
I'm picturing it now. Yeah, you're a librarian now.
Yeah, I'm a librarian. So the librarian is kind, sees the book she's checking out, and is like, hey, I know this stuff can be really difficult to talk about, but luckily every other woman, or like most other women have been through it as well. So there's this whole world of resources for you in other women. And that's kind of what makes Mallory then brings that into this last Babysitters Club meeting, where Vanessa barges in and Mallory's like, you know what, Vanessa, come here. I think we did fail you because we all tried to deal with this on our own, not realizing that this is something that community is here for. Mm-hmm. And the people who have been through this before have valuable knowledge about it. And if we all talk about it, then we don't have to feel so ashamed of it and secretive.
Yeah, say we're a network of babysitters, but more importantly, we're a network of women.
Right.
About that, I think like they all like come to an agreement like together like, oh, fuck, we messed up dealing with this. And then Mallory barges in and they're like, calm down. We actually, we have to apologize to you. And then she's like, huh? Et tu brute? Says some poetic shit. I don't know if that's poetic. But yeah, I think like they come to an agreement. Yes, we need to help her. And then she barges in and they're like, oh no, we're going to help. And then we see them do a little bit and then we flash to the party and they're still talking about it. And then they get to like a very like complicated thing. And then that's when Melanie, Janine, she passes by and then says the answer in some scientific way.
Vanessa could be like, okay, so I probably won't get it for a while. And when I do, I'll have plenty of people to talk to about it. But I still don't understand what happens. Where does the blood come from? Like, what? And then so Janine comes in and is like, well, ovary releases an egg into the fallopian tube and it sticks to the lining of the uterus. And then when it's not fertilized, the uterus sheds the lining and it goes out through the vagina and out. And like she just is very technical about it. I would love for her to literally say vagina and like all of the parts. And then like both Vanessa and Mallory are sitting there like and then Claudia comes by and says, your body makes a little egg, but since you're not having a baby, the egg has to come out with all of the stuff that it was nestled in. And that's where it comes out of your body. Because every month your body is like, are we going to make a baby this month? And most months it's not going to.
I think like it should kind of end on Vanessa saying, man, so like Jackie has to deal with this too. That's Danny Tamborelli. And then they all say, boy, don't we wish.
Yeah, that's funny. Like, oh, we wish. And also she could be like, okay, but what if will I have a baby by accident? Because that's like another thing that you wonder. It's like, oh, this is for having a baby. Am I going to have a baby? And they're going to be like, no. And they're like, well, how are babies made? And they're like, that's for a different episode.
No, I think then Janine walks past and starts saying it. And they're like, no, that's for a different time.
That's good. Yeah. I love that. Well, we did it. Less than an hour this time.
How? I mean, truly, this show is just like them, like kind of saying, repeating the lines back to each other and being like just kind of cozy guys. I said to Nicole, I wish my childhood was this. I wish I could have, one, everyone knows, wish I would have been born a woman. And two, just like had this cozy life. And Nicole from the other room heard me say that and just went, no one has this life. I was like, no.
It's not real.
Yes, it is. It's real to me, goddammit.
But also the thing about Babysitters Club is that it's a little bit like, people have this life if you're only looking at very small hours in the day of a life, like maybe you've had one or two experiences like this, but this is all,
Yeah, and if you are from a upper middle class family, because man, this for our generation, people who will probably never own homes, this is pornography.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's all middle class. They all have lovely homes, suburban neighborhoods. Like, they're huge homes. The kids are all well taken care of. Like, no one's struggling with money in this, you know? No one's struggling with really dark stuff in Babysitter's Club, which when you talk to people as adults, I've learned that basically everyone has a tragic backstory. And yeah, you just don't see any of that in Babysitter's Club. So it's this beautiful fantasy of life without all of the hard parts.
Yeah, technically babysitters to me are traumatic. Won't get into it. But this show, everyone, if you're familiar with either Pretty Little Liars or Gilmore Girls, you know Ravenswood and you know, I think that's the town in Pretty Little Liars, and Stars Hollow are the same studio lot within the Warner Brothers area. They just tore it down, a tragedy. But this fucking feels like a real life Stars Hollow.
Yeah, it does seem like they just all live in that little area. You know, I don't think I even read Babysitter's Club books when I was a kid, maybe one or two, but like by the time I was reading chapter books like that, I was just interested in very different things than what Babysitter's Club was about.
This is all I read as a kid.
Captain Underpants? Yeah.
I'm holding up the book that I got in 3rd grade that taught me how to read.
Amazing. I read a lot and jumped into like fantasy series and stuff pretty young. So I was reading like Ursula K. Le Guin, Earthsea, and God, what was another one that I was obsessed with? I don't remember. But you have some Clive Barker.
Yeah, it's Hellraiser, baby. Hellbound Heart.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
It's horny as hell.
I remember reading The Island of Blue Dolphins in 2nd grade and just being like, wow, this is intense. I'll never forget this.
If it wasn't comic books, I didn't give a shit, really. Or to this day, I love biographies, autobiography. So I read a lot about the mafia and, religion, such of that kind of stuff.
I'm living my autobiography, baby.
Everyone is.
Yeah, I know. Make sure you're writing your own story.
Yeah.
That's right.
Don't let others do it. Don't let people formulaic your fucking life.
That's right. And remember, if you get your period, you can talk to everyone else who's ever gotten a period.
Yeah.
Now what?
I guess we're done?
I guess we're done.
And Shelby, I think I'll write like the first 15 pages and then you write the next.
We can try to work on it together as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, you write some stuff and I'll come in and finish it up and make my edits and stuff. And then you could look at, we'll actually make it a collaborative effort this time.
Yeah.
Because I think like I end up doing the scripts and I'm like, this is really great. And then you end up doing the scripts and I'm like, this is really great. But both times I'm like, I feel like my scripts could use more James stuff. And I feel like James's scripts could use more Shelby stuff. Or could use Shelby going in and taking out some stuff.
Don't take out my shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it all out.
No.
And then make it like way shorter.
No, I'm trying to use these I'm trying to get a manager out of these goddamn scripts.
Well, okay, well, that's something that you gotta remember though, James, is that for a script, you don't need to write everything. You're not like showing off your prose writing skills in a script. Like, that's not what a script is for, right?
Well, the reasons why mine seems so long is because imagine this back wall right here. Imagine that being littered in little like note paper, because that's storyboarding a Scooby-Doo episode. We are I have to describe a 2-second bit of animation through words, and that ends up becoming a paragraph. That's why my Scooby-Doo scripts are pretty long. But if I'm just writing Babysitter's Club, I don't have to be like, yeah, one of the babysitters turns into a rocket ship that's like color-coded to them and has the same hair, and then blasts off.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying is, what if you did? Like, what if we put more of that in the parts that I do, and then more of like the Shelby stuff in the parts that you do?
Okay, yeah.
I'm not gonna delete your stuff, James.
We're not gonna blast these kids off into space, okay? We're not Miss Frizzle.
Yet.
No, I'll never be that communist bastard.
All right, well, this has been great. I love Babysitter's Club. I might watch more of it just because it's so, like, cozy.
There's a movie from 1995 that I really want to watch.
Let's do it.
Because it seems very much in the vein of Then and Now, or Now and Then, I think is the name of it, that Christina Ricci movie. Oh my God, that's so good.
Well, I'm going to go have lunch with my family.
What? Your family lives near you? Lucky ass.
They do. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's really nice.
Well, I guess I'm going to edit this podcast and help Nicole.
Well, it's really short, so it'll be easy for you to get done before your next recording.
And I found out this new technique that deletes silence. And for the most part, you and I don't talk over each other. So it's going to be the quickest edit I think I will ever do for this show.
Fantastic. I look forward to it.
And you want to know what I look forward to? Maybe seeing like a bean stream or something, but I don't know where to find that.
Oh, you might find that over on twitch.tv/R2Shelby2. I did just complete the first level of reward for the Rom-Complex Patreon subathon that I did over on Twitch. And I did stream Mr. Bean content, which we all know I do not care for.
But now you are in love with Rowan Atkins.
I am not. Anyway, if you want to support me and that whole endeavor, again, twitch.tv/R2Shelby2 or go over to patreon.com/theromcomplex. Listen to The Rom Complex. It's a great little podcast with a great editor.
Thank you. Hey guys, while you're over on Twitch, head over to twitch.tv/mostly speaking Sentai, where I'm getting back in the groove because I need $30 a day to survive. So I am going to be doing multi-weekly streams, I should say, multi-day per week streams, however you want to put it, where every single time it's going to be like 2 hours of me streaming in the evening, describing what I'm doing to try and make $30 a day. I'll be editing podcasts. I'll be making music, working out, trying to get that perv crowd over there. Just doing whatever I can do. Sometimes maybe I'll do challenges. If I get that $30, I don't know, show my beehole on Snapchat. I don't know if you can do that. I meant to say chatterbait.
Ooh.
People would like that, I guess.
I mean, whatever you're comfortable doing.
I'll prolapse for $30.
No, James, you got to take care of yourself. You do not need to hurt yourself for that.
I ate 7 hot dogs yesterday.
Well, that's great. I think that should get an award.
No, I think Nicole's concerned by how much processed meat I'm eating.
Oh, they're not plant-based anymore?
Oh, well, even the plant-based is still heavily processed food.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so
but
it's still
not
bad.
Meat.
Oh, yeah, I could say like, actually it's not processed meat. Yeah. So yeah, we got you, Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole.
But yes, please check that out. I'll be doing a bunch of stuff over there. Also, April 19th, new Dragon Boy Suede Marshland Monster album coming out, The Dragon and the Monster. Everywhere music is found, including Bandcamp this time. And head over to marshlandmonster.bandcamp.com. You can get my entire discography for under $20.
Wow, that's a great deal.
And on April 20th, that Saturday right after, one of those $30 a day streams will be me doing the entire behind the music of The Dragon and the Monster, which people are like, will show us like beats and stuff. Howard on most of the songs would give me little like short podcasts of like, hey, here's what I'm doing right now. And like, hey, this is a song I'm about to record to you. I'll give you a second tape, all of that. So I'm going to be like presenting that information as well.
Oh, cool. That sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. If it's not overlapping with my streams, it is, then I'll be there.
What? You got one on April 20th?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Okay,
No.
Okay. Check that out. Also, head over to the best thing to help me get $30 a day, patreon.com/MLM pod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single Friday. This week, we're discussing Critters 3. Lil Corey and I, we're going through every single Critters movie. Yeah, in the month of March. Hoo yeah. First 2 have been great. The third one was also great, but in a completely different way. I'm loving that movie series, baby. And $10 patrons get monthly bonus exclusive content. Sean and I just watched the fantastic indie movie starring Vampiro called The Dead Sleep Easy. That was last month. Don't know. We're probably going to do a Women's History Month thing. Might watch one of those bad shark movies that's written and directed by a woman. But like they know they're working with the best thing. Like it's a trashy movie, not a bad movie. So
right.
be on the lookout for all of that. And $10 patrons also get shoutouts on every single free feed podcast. Let's begin with those, starting with Steve F., Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex Z. The Waz, Orion, Jordan B., The Chaos Witch, my Bickle brother in common law, Joshua, Jake is Steve Barnes, A Sweet Child of Time, and Intro Void. Go check out his music. My mother, Lil Corey's BFF, and now former roommate Shane. That fed, twitch.tv/Corwinning. It's Corwin from This Movie's Gay, and from the illustrious The Rom Complex, currently discussing Mary-Kate and Ashley movies, as well as, oh my goodness, Formulaic, a podcast and script writing. It's twitch.tv/R2Shelby2.
That's me. I've been Shelby.
And I've been James.
This has been Formulaic.
Guys, you gotta go hang out with your best friend and people who care.
You do.
And never
Bye.
stop loving yourself.
Keep falling in love.
Dang it, fuck. Okay. Well, I'm saying the other thing. All right, bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a Marshland Media
and OK Owl production.
Produced by me, James McCollum.
And me, Shelby Sweeterman.
For more content, please visit mlmpod.com.
Or okowl.com.
And for the best way to support this podcast, please visit patreon.com/MLMpod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single week. Thank you very much for listening. Oh, yeah.